Welcome to Let's Talk with Danuelle. I'm your host. I'm so excited today. I have a great guest. I cannot wait to introduce her today, guys. Um, but before I do that, I want to share a little bit about what's going on with my podcast this year. Um, in this year of January, this is going to be one of the last days I'm going to be sharing live on Facebook. I'm I want to go ahead and transition over to YouTube, but maybe I'll do both, guys. Maybe I'll do both, but I'm really going to actually start doing live podcasts on YouTube. Okay. I'm really excited about that. And also, my company, Four Keys Publishing Company, we created a journal line. I've been posting all these videos about my journals. I'm so excited about them. This right here is called the Dance Life, and it's for young girls. They're gonna love this journal. I cannot wait. You can go to Amazon and get this journal. And also, look, I got this one too. Can y'all see that?
So cute.
Pearl, can you see this?
I can see it. Yeah, it says
Okay, awesome.
dance life. Yeah.
All right. So I just wanted to share that, guys, because it's the new year. My journal line kind of took off a little bit before the new year, but I had just got my new designs this year, and I'm so excited about them. But guys, I am so excited to have Ferrell Fellows. She is going to be joining us. We're going to be talking about so much, some of the things that she's doing in the community and her company, her business, guys. I really cannot wait for you guys to meet Ferrell Fellows. I'm so happy you
Hey,
they
everybody.
will make it and join me today.
It's my pleasure. I always love talking about real estate, faith, community building, ownership. Ownership is my favorite word. So if I can talk about that, I'm here.
Look, this morning, I wanted to get to know a little bit more about you. Of course, we talked before. I think it was when I first had a conversation, a meeting with you actually,
Mhm.
about ownership, because that's I'm in that season. I'm in that season, and I shared with you some things about my journey and the things I needed to do. And you gave me so guys. She really, I didn't know what to expect, but to hear somebody so passionate, some people have a job, some people work and they kind of like a routine, but I can hear her passion. She was excited about telling me what I needed to do. She was encouraging me, she was inspiring me. I'm like, wow, I love it. And I actually went back and took a lot of her tips and applied it to my credit. Applied it to a lot of different things in my life. And so,
Yeah,
yes.
I
So
love that.
did you know that this was something that you were going to actually kind of step into, real estate, being a broker, and so many other things that you're doing?
No, I had no idea. In fact, I was a real estate agent for about 3 years, and I had no plans to become a broker. A broker is sort of a graduated level from being a salesperson, and it takes a certain amount of sales.
Mhm.
There's team building, there's management. You essentially own your own company, and then you have other agents that work for you. And that was nothing that I ever wanted to do, thought about doing. In fact, I was at a women's conference and it was prophesied to me that I would do that. And I was like, wait, God, I don't want to do that. What are you talking about? I don't want to do
Yeah.
that. But when it was framed from a perspective of having greater leadership to help train other people how to do faith based real estate, then I said, okay, God, I can do that. And less than a year after I received that prophecy, I ended up getting my broker's license, not even knowing that I was qualified to
Wow.
be a broker. And that was just the whole God thing. I had someone reach out to me and ask me, how did you do that so quickly? Because they had been in the business for 20 years and still was not eligible to sit for their broker's license. And I had only been an agent for 4 years. So that just shows the acceleration that God put on my life to help me do what others take 20 years to do in 4 years. And so now I've been in the business about 7 years. And had no idea that God would take me into real estate, but it's for a purpose. And my prayer is that everything I do will be impactful and will help people possess the land for God's kingdom.
I love the way you say that, possess the land, because when I was watching your YouTube video on your kingdom legacy, and by the way, I don't think I even mentioned that's your company, Kingdom Legacy.
Yes, Kingdom Legacy Company. That is the name of it.
Yes. So when I was watching your YouTube video, I was in tears. It was the reason why is because I know God was touching me. He was showing me some things about ownership for myself. And
Mm,
but it was other things that was going on in that video. There was so much going on in the video, and the way you were talking and showing the pictures of the house that was so it was broken. It was almost like a reflection of the people who were in it,
mm-hmm.
and you began to talk about the people who were living there and about their lives, and at the same time their lives were broken and the house was broken. And but when you actually came in there and did your assignment, what you were passionate to do, what God called you to do, not just business but also part of your faith journey, it
Mm-hmm.
was so amazing. Because do you know, it just touched my heart. I can't even go into unpack how I felt in that moment, um, of what was going on, and to look at the house so beautiful after
Wow.
you guys put so much work into it, and your
Mhm.
company came in there and just did a complete makeover. I was thinking about God though. I was thinking about
Yes,
like how God can do that in your life.
yes, yes. It is. It's so many parallels between the work that I do and for properties and for people. And to just give you a really perfect example of that, I I was doing this for a couple years developing real estate. So that's on top of being a broker. I develop real estate. And so that means that I take distressed properties and I renovate them, and I specifically rent them to people that are at risk or facing homelessness or need second chances. And so going through that process, I was in it a couple years before I really realized that it was all about the people and not really at all about the properties. And so I was at this event or this service, and I started feeling the fire of God all over me. And the Lord started, you know how people say your life flashes before your eyes? It was
Yes.
literally like that, like in an instant. God showed me every single homeless person, a person in need I had ever encountered. And he started showing me, like, this is what I care about.
Wow.
That's about that, all about this. And I started feeling his love for these people I had just passed by on the street corners, people that I had helped. And he's like showing me their faces and how much he cares about them. And housing is just a sort of byproduct of creating environments that nurture like love and Christ-like
Yes.
environments that help people to find peace and joy and family restoration and love. But it's really all rooted in his love for people. And it just really helped, I would say, refocus me on what I do. No matter how fun it is to remodel properties, it's always comes back to the people and the impact that we can have on those people in the communities.
Yes, because not only you renovate homes and have programs in your company. I want to make sure I'm correct. Did you also create a center as well in Dallas?
Yeah, so we don't just focus on housing, but it's all about possessing the entire neighborhood. So we look at development from a communal perspective. And oftentimes, I'm trying not to over spiritualize things.
No, 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 no. That's why I created this platform. There's no such
Okay.
thing as, in the corporate world, and sometimes
Yeah.
we as Christians, sometimes we gotta, we don't want to be shouting and jumping in our corporate world, because our meetings and our leaders will be looking at us like we don't know what's going on. But on this platform, we can talk about business, faith, God, and you don't have to worry about over spiritualizing anything.
Okay, good. Well, oftentimes I will. oftentimes I will have like visions of the earth from like a satellite view, looking down on the ground and looking down upon spaces and territories. And so I look at real estate from a territorial perspective and not just an individual house by house situation or property by property. And when you look at a neighborhood or a territory, it's an ecosystem that has many different elements that function together. And if any of those elements are missing, you don't have a community or you don't have a healthy community.
Community.
So housing is just one small aspect of the work that I do. It encompasses, we need centers for health. We need food. We need healthy food. We need a healthy education system. We need a spiritual environment. We need mentors. We need jobs. It's all these different things. We need safe streets. And so the work that I do is not only to build houses, but also to build like places
Community.
of retail centers, places of community,
Wow.
apartment buildings, and then to help, I would say, support policies that help others to be able to do the same thing. And so it's broader than just fixing and flipping houses. To me,
Hmm.
I train people to do that, and it's wonderful if you want to look at real estate from a one-off perspective, but I'm looking at it from a territorial perspective, from a multi-generational
Mm.
perspective. I want the work that I do to withstand, to go beyond my lifetime. I want it to go beyond my children's lifetime. I want it to be multi-generational. I want it to be beyond one neighborhood. I want it to be global. And so that's the way that I work and I, execute my vision.
I love it. You also wrote a book.
Yes, I
I
did.
cannot wait to tell me. Before we jump into the book, there's a question in my head. Why did you come up? Where did Kingdom Legacy come from? Like, what moved you to call your business Kingdom Legacy?
Well, Kingdom Legacy was just all of it was given to me, in quiet time with the Lord. So I had gone through this journey of wanting more. It's like no matter what career you're in, there's always more. And so before I got into real estate, I owned a private tutoring company and I was a waitress and I also was an accountant. And I was working like 3 jobs and I was like, I want more, God. I had an MBA but couldn't find a corporate job to save my life. Even though I had a ton of corporate experience, it was like God shut that door and it just wasn't working for me anymore. Um, I had walked away from my corporate career and like literally when I walked away, God locked the door shut. He was like, you're not going back. And every time I tried to leave the entrepreneur lifestyle and go back, it never worked because he locked and sealed that door and he didn't want me to go back. So that pushed me into
Yeah.
entrepreneurship, but it was difficult. So I had to work jobs as a waitress and work a night job. And so I literally was working 3 jobs at the same time. When I got to the point where I just said, enough is enough, God. I I don't want to have to slave to pay my bills. And so that's when he opened up a door for me to get into real estate.
Wow.
And so that was, probably about 8 years ago. I trusted him. Well, funny story. I didn't trust him enough to leave the job he told me to leave where I was tutoring. I had a private tutoring business. I didn't trust him enough to leave it and go full into real estate. So he caused the location where I was working to burn down. And I
Oh,
remember that about 3 weeks after he told me to quit and just go full into this new industry of real estate, like I
this
had
is
been wrestling with him, how am I going to leave this guaranteed income? I built up these clients, they're counting on me, I'm counting on them, I have a small baby, all these excuses. And I remember one day I drove up and the place was like burning down to the ground, and I'm like, okay, God, okay, all right, did you have to burn it down though? So
Wait a minute. That reminds me when I was working for the state of Texas. I was working for Workforce Solution, and I love that job. Okay. But I believe God allowed me to work there because I discovered some things about me that I didn't know that was in me. Like I discovered I normally shy away from speaking in front of people unless it's in church. Like I'm comfortable with going up there in church because I'm a kid that grew up in church. So Easter speeches and choir and I'm that's okay for me to go speak. But at this job, my manager, he said, I think you're really good with being a career coach. I think you'll do good with it. I didn't ask for it. I didn't ask for it. When he trained me on it, my first time going in front of all the people, I did bad. I was nervous. My voice trembled. He was like, "Did you study the notes that I gave you?" I did. He said, "I don't think you did because I know you can do this job." And my job was the new role was to get in front of a classroom of people who had been laid off of their jobs, and either they had either they was retired or they've been laid off or something happened where they lost their job, and they was in this group. And my job was to tell them all the things that we were like all our services and different things that we could do, the tools they can use to get a job. But I'm telling you, I was so nervous, but I finally that's when I achieved it. Like I started doing great. They loved me. I spoke well. It was something I started doing over and over again. I had confidence and I was able to, embrace that position, but God was moving me again.
Wow.
He was moving me again. And he was like, okay, your season is up. And so I went into my role that I'm here now. And I was so lost. I was like, I cannot believe I made this decision. The reason why the reason why he was moving me from my state job, there were some things going on at the job. It was almost like I was being pushed out a little bit. Nothing bad. It was just like the things were changing, the leadership was changing. The manager who I love so much, he was moving, and it was just coming in like a flood. And it was almost like I just knew God was telling me it's time for me to go. And then when the opportunity came for my new job, I took it. I got hired, but then I didn't know where I fit in. I was there at the new job. It was a lot of things spiritually. I believe God put me there spiritually as well. I was in the midst of telling people, like sharing, saying, well, you know what? We're in a group. And I'm trying not to say too much because I don't want to, but we're in a group and people are pulling out crystals. They have crystals on their desk. They have this, all that. And I'm like, well, that's them. But when they start trying to pull me into it, I had to start saying, oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm a Christian. I don't do this. And it's like in front of like 50 people I'm telling this to. And they're looking like, oh. I'm like, what? In a training class, a girl came in with her tarot cards. Right at corporation. I was like, oh my God, like what would they say if I came in with my Bible? But that's a whole nother story. But I know God
a whole other topic.
God had put me in that job for a reason. And sometimes he puts you in seasons where it seems so awkward. But he's always leads you to like where I'm at right now. Now I understand why. Like I'm able to have the freedom to do my own business. I'm able to write my books and my journals and start my publishing company and whatever else God has put on in that season as an assignment. But go ahead.
You have to be sensitive to those transitions because if not, you'll get stuck. And God has so much more for us in our careers. And that's a message to anybody that's watching. God has so much more advancement, promotion, and even business ownership for us to be able to thrive in our lives and not just get stuck. And in my personal story, I felt stuck. And when you're not working in a job for someone else, but you're working independently for yourself, it's easier to get stuck because you can get a certain level of comfort or clientele and you're not going to push yourself. But God can be consistently pushing you to transition or to let go of something that feels comfortable. And it's up to you to discern, like, it's time to change. It's time to grow. It's time to Move on. And if you don't listen, you'll be outside of his will. And you'll have to burn the whole place down.
Damn, that's what I thought about. I did share this on Facebook. I'm sorry. Hold on, I'm sorry. There we go. There we go. I did put it on Facebook and made it public. So I don't know if you can see it or not.
Yeah, I've shared it because I
Oh,
want
okay.
people to hear this conversation. Because the backstory is what is really going to encourage people that they can do it too. 'Cause I don't want people to just hear my story. This should be about the power and knowledge and ownership for anybody to take
Yes.
advantage of this, because it's not just my career, it's actually a command for us to own real estate. In the Bible, it's talked about more than 98 scriptures about land ownership and possessing the land. In fact, it's a theme throughout all of scripture to own property and to possess property. So anybody that's not owning is, in my opinion, limiting themselves from something that's already promised and already available as an inheritance as a child of God. So I look at real estate as something that you must do. And that's why I wrote the book, We Must Own, with the emphasis on must, because anything that you take from I might do to I must do, it's going to change the way that you approach it. It's going to change your sense of urgency. It's going to change the risk that you take, because you must do it. It's a mandate. I have to,
Yes.
before I leave this earth, I must own a piece of land. I must buy my big mama's house. I must build my own, estate. Whatever it is that God shows you that you must do, it's not going to be something that you put off for one day. You're going to be intentional about it. And so I wrote We Must Own as a manual to help people figure out how they can buy properties and how to navigate the complexities of real estate investing and real estate development so that it can be easy enough for anybody to do it. And I literally say, no matter your income level, no matter your education, you don't need a real estate license. You don't need a college degree. You don't need a diploma in from high school to do this. Anybody can do it. And I made it that basic in the book so that if you read the book, by the time you're done, it's almost like you went to college for real estate, and you should be able to follow the steps to be able to become a property owner.
Where can they purchase your book? Well, you can give me the link afterwards, and I
Yeah,
can put
we
it
must own.com. That's that easy. The name of the book is We Must Own, and we must own.com. You go on there, you get the book. But the most important thing is to read it. I have sold a lot of books, but maybe only 10% of the people will actually pick it up and read it. So for me, success is when I get stories from people that say, hey, we just bought our first, investment property. We bought an Airbnb after 18 years of marriage. We finally did it. I had
on.
one guy, he got, I want to say it was like 50 acres of land through a partnership without any money of his own. Um,
Wow.
just starting to get stories and testimonials, even when you said that your credit score raised, like
Yes.
those are the steps of the process to get to ownership. And I try to tell people, you've got to position yourself for success before the opportunity presents itself. So making steps like focusing on your credit, taking responsibility for past mistakes,
Mm,
learning about how to structure entities. All these things put you in a position to
yeah.
take advantage of opportunities when they arise. You don't wait until you hear about a real estate investment deal to invest. You got to start working like 2 years ago to get yourself ready so that when it arrives, you'll be in position.
Yeah, you really inspired me. I was looking at one of your YouTube videos, and I think you titled it Level Up. I
Yeah.
love it. I was like, oh my God, she's talking to me. I'm in that season. I'm definitely in that season. I didn't want to just talk about it. I didn't even just want to just pray about it,
Mhm.
because some things God say, okay, to make a long story short,
Mhm.
I had a dream. I had a dream. I have been praying about ownership. and I had a dream that I saw this gate with my name on it. And I walk in the gate, I see it was so beautiful there. And then God is talking to me, but I couldn't see God. I couldn't see him, but I could hear God. And he was telling me, he said, see that? That's your house. These are houses. I'm like,
Wow.
they're not houses? He said, and then he, of course, he showed me other things in my life that I've been praying about. And he said, yeah, they're right here. He said, but what you need to do is take all of this and bring it down there. I woke up.
Wow.
Oh, okay, God, he's putting it on me. He's telling me I already have this for you. Now do it. Make it happen. Walk in faith. Level up.
Listen, there's a scripture in Obadiah, and it's about possessing the possessions. Or so you already have the possession, but you have to go in and possess it. And that's the thing that many people don't realize. It's like it's in Obadiah 117. It says Jacob will possess his inheritance, or Jacob shall possess their own possessions.
Write that
So
down.
Obadiah 117, it's already promised to you, just like
Hmm.
it was the children of Israel. The land was already, it was divvied out according to the tribe. Everyone had their own land that they were going to possess when they entered into the promised land. But guess what? They still had to go in and possess it. So it's like you've got to take hold of it. You
Yes.
got like, and that's what you were seeing in the dream. It's like this is all what I have
I'm like,
written
that's
in
for
a
me.
book of your life. Yeah, this is my perfect will for you. But listen, honey, you got to take some action because
Yeah.
it's not no one's just gonna show up at your front door and sign their deeds over to you. You have to go out and get it. And the way that you get it is by faith. That means
Yes.
faith looks like risk. I heard this yesterday. How do you spell faith? Risk. You got to take some risk. And if you are not willing to take risk, you are not living by faith. That means it's not going to look like it's going to work until it works.
Wow.
So it's not going to make sense until it's done. So you're going to have to go and do something that's audacious, and it's going to seem like it doesn't make any financial sense to you. You're going to look at your credit and say, how could this ever be possible? That's when you're living by faith. I do that
Yes.
all the time. I built my whole business doing things that don't make any
Sense.
to any other expert in the business. Literally, appraisers will say, no, that'll never work. Bankers will say, no, that'll never get funded. Inspectors will say, no, you should never buy this. Contractors will say, no, I'd never build this. It'll cost too much and it's
Mhm.
just in terrible condition. But guess what? If God tells you to do it, you look them in the face and you say, I don't care what you think about it. God told me to do it and I'm doing it, baby. And I don't know how I'm going to pay for it, but it's
Yes.
going to be done. That's how I live my life. And guess what? That's why I am where I am today, because God is on my side, because I'm living by faith. And so
Wow.
that's my message to everybody. It's like,
Hey.
don't let your budget or your past or your experience level dictate what you take advantage of in life. You just let the visions, the dreams, the plans that you've written down, you let that dictate where you go in life. And based on that video that you watched, my mindset will break a whole lot of people's brains.
Woo.
Like, if whatever you have written on your plans is probably not big enough, because if it's still you're like, yeah, I could possibly do that, it's not big enough. If you feel that you can make it happen in your own means, it's not big enough. If you feel like you have a connection within your personal network that can make it happen for you, it's
Hmm.
not big enough. If you feel like you have a relative in your family that could pay for it for you, it's not big enough. We've got to increase our visions to the point where only God could make these type of things happen in our lives. That's when you know you're living by faith. And that's the level of faith we need to be at to really have an impact in the earth at the level that I know God really desires for us.
I love it. I love it. Before we go, I want you to share any other things that you would like to share with the audience that's watching now or will be watching later? Like the things that you're doing or you're creating that they can maybe participate in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am having a seminar or workshop that's open to the public on January 21st. It's from 9:30 to 1:30, and you can register online. I'll drop the registration link. And so I just encourage everybody to come to that because we'll be talking about home ownership. We'll be opening up a grant application for $5,000 that will help people to pay their closing costs. I've had a ton of buyers buy properties or buy their first home without any money out of pocket, and they get refund checks.
Wow.
And then we'll have lenders talking about down payment assistance to help people buy properties, using different government funding that's available. We'll be talking about interest rates. And then we'll have another side of the workshop that'll be talking about investing for all those people that want to buy investment properties or you want to own your own business where let's say
Yes.
you do hair, you like, I want to own my own hair salon or barbershop or, insurance agency. Well, it's important to own the real estate where your business operates as well. We'll be talking about how you can invest in real estate, and we'll have a commercial lender there doing consultations with people to help them apply for commercial loans. So we want to start the year off taking action and really like getting things done. We'll have food. I'll do a book signing at this event. And also, another announcement that I want to share is that I have a podcast and I talk about faith in real estate. And you can go to comaclubcommunity.com/podcast and you can register for this event there and you can listen to my podcast. It's all about why you should buy real estate, even in this market where people say, is this a good time to buy? Interest rates are high. I
Oh,
did a whole
wow.
podcast about it. And so the what
I
God
can't wait.
God just told me to tell everybody that it's a time to own now. The time to own is
Woo!
now.
Listen, I wish, you know what? I don't even want to let you go right now. You gotta go. I know you gotta go because what you're saying is it's to me, God has been telling me that. And because I remember thinking, like, God, as soon as I start seeing my credit go up, and my credit is still going up, okay? People say, get this credit card. I got a lot of people asking me to get a credit card, this. I'm very particular about I got credit cards, but I don't want to keep getting a lot of them either. I don't want to be tempted.
Yeah,
But
you got to have discipline with credit
yeah,
cards.
discipline. But it's just a season where God is pushing me. He's saying that, and I kept thinking, well, Lord, it seemed like the whole in 20 was it 2021? Yeah, 2021. The whole game changed in the real estate, the marketing, the prices went up, and I
Mhm.
was like, I'm like, what? I'm seeing homes that was once 100 and something thousand dollars now at $300,000.
Yeah, I just really encourage everybody to listen to this podcast because I address this from a whole different
Okay,
perspective. I've
great.
been in the industry for long enough to see people's lives completely change through property ownership. These are people who started off just like I did, working multiple jobs just to get by, to being in a position to graduate with doctorate degrees and pay off student loan debt and open up businesses and you know, invest in real estate, all based on buying one house. And
Wow.
and so I just say people cannot look at real estate as a mass generalized situation. God can work a miracle in any market. I've seen him do it. I've seen him do it for people who have faith. In that same market, I was able to get a client a property $150,000 below asking price. In the same street where all the neighbors paid 150,000 over asking price, I was able to help a client get their property 150,000 below asking price. God works miracles no
Oh my
matter what the
goodness.
economy is. There's always an opportunity. But what I said is you got to position yourself to take advantage of the opportunity when it arises. So Most people just use the economy as an excuse to not do the work that they need to do now. If you do the work now, the economy is constantly changing. You might hit a wave where just when you're ready, the market will return to where you need it to be and you'll be in position to take advantage of it.
All right. Hey guys, I hope you guys have been blessed. She has said a lot of great things. She was very informative, a lot of information. And please, Pearl, when you drop that link, I'm gonna put it on this video. So just in case if they didn't you know how some people just like to see it on there so they can not miss out on what on the upcoming things that you have going on. We
Yeah.
definitely need to be there for those who are wanting to buy their first home, or even if it's your second home or third home or whatever you're trying to do. Maybe it's your business. You know, maybe you want to have a business and want to buy that particular property. She's doing something on January the 21st.
21st from 9:30 to 1:30.
Wow. I am so excited what God is doing. It's so much in me right now. I was so blessed this morning, I'm telling you, because God has been speaking to me in this season, and I'm just going to keep moving in faith no matter what's going on around me. And I know that God got some great things in store for me when it comes down to ownership.
Well, I
So,
look forward to helping you through your ownership journey.
yes.
All the people watching.
Yes, I'm definitely. Hey, the Lord has led me to you, and I'm not gonna let you go when it comes down to this ownership, because you were so passionate about telling me something, and I heard God say, "And do it." Oh, okay. I'm gonna see this. Great. Let me see how this works. And
Mhm.
I was sacrificing. I was like, no, I'm not gonna spend that. No, I gotta do that. No, I gotta pay this off. Whatever it was, because I'm determined. I am wanting to see my fruit. I want what God has for me.
Yes, I encourage you, do something audacious. Take God at his word. When we have more time, I would love for you to bring me back so that we can go into more topics on how to do that, because some people just don't know, how do I take a risk? How do I make a faith move? I can break it down for you, but I just encourage everybody. This is the year to own. I'm not just saying that whether you use my services or not. This I just heard the Lord say, buy now, no matter what the economy looks like, no matter what the news is saying, this is your year to
Woo!
take advantage. It's the year to own. Do something audacious, take a risk and step out on faith and believe God at his word. And I would love for you to come back and share your testimony of what God did in your life in ownership.
That's good. I know, and I know I'm gonna have that testimony.
Sure will.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So you're gonna have to come back because it's so much we can talk about. So much rich things, so much knowledge, God things, and yeah, I'm so happy that you came out and shared so much information. You have a good night, and thank you so much.
For having me.
Girl, I do not want to let her go, y'all. I don't want to end this.
Well, I can always come back. And if anybody
Yes,
has
you can.
questions, I'm on Facebook. You can follow me at Ferrell Fellows, Instagram at Fifi Fellows, or you can go follow me at Comma Club Community, where I teach people all about real estate ownership.
Great. Thank you guys for watching Let's Talk with Danuelle, my podcast. I told you this is what the podcast is all about, bringing people on, and we're talking about faith, business, all kinds of topics that matters the most to us. You guys have a good night. Bye,
Good
Carol.
night.
Mhm.